So Shinsuke Nakamura actually won the United States Championship, and we're going to talk about that because I thought that he was absolutely buried last time with his SmackDown match with Andrade. I thought, like, why is he struggling against this guy so much? Anyhow, I'll get into the details why. I'll also talk about the entirety of Survivor Series, just give my thoughts on every single match really quickly. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the main issue here. Yeah, I made a video yesterday just absolutely crapping on that match because I thought this man was not wrestling on television for the past 6 months, and he returns and he barely able to beat Andrade. What are you doing? At least make him look like a threat, because I said that thinking that he was never going to win this match. It was just like too random of a return that wasn't like too incremental. And you know, above that, before he returned, you know what Shinsuke was doing, which was absolutely nothing. It was booked almost like a jobber, and I thought that we're just gonna see the continuation of that. And boy, was I wrong. I'm fair. Look, some of you call me WWE fanboy, some of you call me AEW fanboy. Doesn't matter. If I see something cool, I'll say it's cool. If I see something it's horrible, I'll say it's horrible, it's bad, whatever. You know, like, I'm not a fanboy of any company. I just have my own opinions and I share them with you, and hopefully you enjoy roasting me about them or just listening to them in general. Yeah, I was sort of wrong about Shinsuke Nakamura. Not completely, I'll be honest with you, because that match still didn't make sense. It felt like, you know, back in the day, and even still, you have the Money in the Bank winner, and then like that winner loses for 20 years straight, like every single match, but at the end of the day, he gets the title. So like, he got the title, but before getting the title, you basically did everything you can to make this guy lose all the time. So I don't know if it works, Chief. And you know, it's kind of a similar situation, but there's no escaping it. I reacted too fast, too harshly. And sometimes, for example, with Ricochet in AEW, I called him basically, yeah, this guy's not gonna do anything in AEW because they're just booking him horribly. This was a mistake. And I think I stand corrected. I called it like the second week he was ever in AEW. But here, that, you know, arriving at a conclusion too fast, I guess, bit me in the back, because Shinsuke Nakamura came out there and beat LA Knight in a straight up fight, straight up wrestling match. Clean as well. I don't remember. I might be mistaken, but yeah, I don't remember anything dirty. No miss, that's for sure. LA Knight just got beat. And the fact that he dropped his title in his entrance obviously was like a mistake, a botch, but it really added to the match. Like, you know, it just added to the whole atmosphere. And the commentators were the whole time saying, yeah, I think LA Knight just is not in the right mindset right now. Shinsuke Nakamura got him and stuff like that. And above all of that, Shinsuke Nakamura, I think, got his theme changed one more time. And he's really this Oni, or like a demon. Japanese, you know, folklore style demon now that gives me that whole vibe. Changed up his entrance as well, set up in the Seiza position on his knees, and did the whole Japanese bowing thing. So yeah, basically almost a completely different look in presentation for Shinsuke Nakamura. After we saw a little bit of that on SmackDown, so I was like, okay, if they're investing this much into this guy right now, LA Knight might be losing. I still didn't believe it until it happened, because like when it happened again, it was just like shocking. It kind of happened like that, where I wasn't expecting it. Kinshasa to the back of the head, and Nakamura is your new champion. But hey, I guess that's why he wrestled kind of like in a more upbeat, more fast, better than he ever did for many years now in the WWE. I'm talking about Shinsuke here in the ring. I guess he had a pep in his step because he knew he was going to win the United States Championship before he was doing the Andrade match and during this match as well. And here it is, man. Here it is again, clean victory. I was wrong. I wish they still booked him better against Andrade, because, you know, like, he barely was able to beat Andrade, but he basically whipped LA Knight's ass. And so anyhow, I like this new presentation, and I was wrong. Let's see where it goes, because yeah, heel champion, long mileage. Crazy that LA Knight lost it this way. It kind of makes me concerned about his future. What are they gonna do? Because the WWE Championship scene is not going to be empty anytime soon. Is this like, okay, we had the LA Knight thing, it's over now, and it's time to basically forget about it? Might be the beginning of that, we'll see. But I don't hate the new presentation. I don't hate the new theme song as well. It's not as badass as the last one, obviously. but it fits his character. And last thing I'll say about this match before I move on to every other match is that I like this character of Shinsuke Nakamura right now. We'll see again where it goes. It really reminds me of early 2009, like New Japan Shinsuke Nakamura, where he had the black attire and he would do like the signs and pray before getting into the ring. That original Shinsuke Nakamura mixed in with a more interesting character and a bit more charisma. So I dig this. I wasn't expecting this from Triple H based on the way he booked Shinsuke Nakamura before, but Shinsuke is his guy, you know. Triple H brought him into NXT, so I guess he decided to give him another run. And I'll say one more thing. I like the fact that they went through with this. Like, okay, this is a decision that we're making. We brought Shinsuke Nakamura in and we're gonna give him something instead of just making him the flavor of the month. Like, this is how you actually make an impact and build stars. And I'll say this one more time. Not completely, okay, not 100%, but I was pretty wrong about Shinsuke Nakamura. We'll see where it goes. Now, let's get to the rest of the Survivor Series. This right here is the women's War Games match, and this is everything wrong with the War Games match concept. Happy birthday to Naomi here. So I made an entire video about the problem with this match. I'll just say it in a short sentence here. Before the last entrant comes into the ring and the War Games actually start, nothing they do matters here. So that was the problem with this match. Like for 30-40 minutes, we had absolutely nothing going on. But we'll get to that. Rhea Ripley's attire, the mask, everything was insane. Definitely my favorite attire of the night. Nia Jax came out there. I mean, the heel team just lacked star power, by the way. That's why I thought the babyface team were just going to win anyway, just based on the star power alone. And that's what ended up happening. Raquel Rodriguez, tough luck, man. Good luck to her. I don't know what they're going to do with her. But this match was boring. I'll tell you that. And I took a lot of notes, and I'll just read through them real quickly. Io and Tiffany faced off against each other, and like that was good. The crowd reacted really well as well. The match between them, I hope they make one, especially during a pay-per-view. It will cook. Like, it will actually cook. There's a lot of potential and chemistry there, I sensed. I talked about Raquel. I said basically she has no charisma. Ooh, she's got to figure it out. I don't know. And here's the thing. Yeah, before the last person enters, they just kind of are wasting time. And men's match actually did this right. But the women's match, it was just awkward. They were just running around in the ring doing random moves. That's what it felt like. Just setting up, very obviously setting up for moves. And that's not something I want to see in a billion-dollar company at this point. Like, I want more professionalism. In one spot, I remember, I think this is when the match started, Io does a front missile dropkick. And then she like scoots over, obviously setting herself up for like a double stomp. I was like, what is going on here? Like, what am I watching here? This isn't supposed to be happening in the WWE, right? It's supposed to be like the biggest company, the top of the food chain. So yeah, that was not something that I wanted to see. What I wanted to see though with Io and the Tiffany spot was the, crazy trash can spot happening again, just like it did last year, I think. So at least that was cool. But yeah, this match, I didn't like it. It was actually boring, and it shouldn't have existed because WWE very obviously did this match with the mindset of, oh, the men are having a War Games match, so the women has to have them too. Do you need a reason? Nah, screw that. It's just, we need equality. No, instead of that, if you're going to make this match, give it a story like you did with the men's match. I think this is more of an insult, It really just showed that this was a complete throwaway. It was done just to take an item off the list, just check it, So that's what I'm not good with. Like, it feels like the old Hell in a Cell pay-per-view where you're doing a Hell in a Cell match because, well, it's named Hell in a Cell, so we have to do it. Instead, you look at CM Punk and Drew McIntyre when you have a reason to do a match, or you look at the main event of today, when you have a reason to do a match, it's 10 times better. And so, yeah, WWE, I don't know why they do this. But it's actually like WWE's really been insulting to the women's division. They have the Intercontinental title reveal, and it's during commercial break. So yeah, it's rough. It's rough. The tag team division and the women's division, I don't know. WWE's got to get better with that. And of course, they're a really poor company, right? So they can't hire writers and make this more quality. But anyhow, whatever. I'll say, even without a story, these matches, the War Games matches in NXT, for example, were actually good because they did insane spot after insane spot. So it was at least entertaining to watch. But yeah, this match didn't have that either because we're on the main roster, so they tend to be a little more safer, a lot more safer than NXT Black and Gold, especially. So yeah, this wasn't it, man. I just didn't like this match. The ending was fine though. The table break spot was super clean. Rhea Ripley got the victory. So cool. Oh yeah, last thing I want to talk about. Tiffany did the cash-in tease for the 20 millionth time. So like this is getting annoying at this point. It's getting annoying. I'm not hyped about the cash-in at this point. I'm not expecting it. Like the reverse psychology is not working. I actually don't want to see it now. The similar thing happened with Chad Gable and Otis. Like, when is Otis gonna revolt and actually like punch Chad Gable? They teased that so long where at the end I just didn't give a crap. And this is the same thing with Tiffany's cash-in. Like at this point, get it over with. This is annoying at this point, you know what I mean? And then we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight, which I talked about. New champion, we'll see what happens with that. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus and Kaiser. This was actually a good match. I mean, WWE does entertaining triple threat matches, and this was one of the lesser fun ones though. It still was better than the first War Games match because like it was chaotic just like the first match, but everything was controlled. You had cool action, cool move after cool move, and they knew their spots instead of like meandering, should I do this, should I do that, where you know the women's match always looked very uncoordinated. This was chaotic but at the same time coordinated, and that really helped, and it didn't overstay its welcome. This was a short match with crazy action and exactly what I think everybody expected happened here. Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, because they had their own feud going on, took each other out to a nice dinner date, and Braun Breaker just took the title and continued on his merry way. This guy did lose his title once to Sami Zayn, but I think for a very long time now, he's not going to lose it, because if he does, the only way you can send Braun Breaker is up, even more so than LA Knight. And again, the main title picture is really filled up right now, although he can easily be a world champion. I'm not gonna lie. So still, I predict that this guy's gonna keep his title for a long time, until everything gets cleared, where he can just take over the main event title scene whenever it's available. But Ludwig Kaiser, man, I'm glad that he's getting this singles push, and I think he needs more. I think he's great on the mic, great wrestler, and he deserves the world. So happy to see it. He's gonna have a good feud with Sheamus. But yeah, Braun Breaker moves on. So I like this match. It was nice, nothing special, but pretty enjoyable nonetheless. This match as well, the finish was underwhelming for me because Finn Balor came out with Gunther and Damian Priest. But the match itself, the in-ring action, I think this might have been the best match besides the final one in the entire pay-per-view. It was actually really good. I've never seen Gunther have a bad match, which is insane. Damian Priest has also grown on me. Like I said, they did a couple of blocks, like triangle chokeholds and key locks and stuff like that. I don't know if Damian Priest does any jiu-jitsu. I know Gunther at least used to do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it showed here, and it was really cool to see those moves. Just a very enjoyable match. Besides that, very good pacing, very good everything, selling. Gunther lost his confidence, but when he saw the arm was injured, went in for that like a shark. Just absolutely great psychology. It's just that I don't care about Finn Balor. They completely botched this feud with Finn Balor. This was like the biggest moment at SummerSlam, the betrayal of Finn Balor to Damian Priest. The camera shot, the facial expressions, everything was perfect. But then they had that horrible match where Damian Priest basically bared the entirety of the Judgment Day. And this feud has gone cold for me, and this did nothing for me. I was expecting Goldberg, I was expecting Ludwig Kaiser, I was expecting a different answer to this conundrum when it came to this match with the booking, but they went back to Finn Balor. They can still salvage this to a good match, but like the damage for me has already been done. Finn Balor said, I'm gonna attack you in a way that you're never gonna see it coming. I'm gonna devastate you. And then he attacked him on a random round from behind and got his ass whooped. I'm talking about Finn Balor. So he lost all his aura for me. This is what I don't care about. But what I do care about, and what obviously the WWE cares about, is obviously, I had to use it for 2 times in a row. This match, the main event, the War Games for the men's, the entrances had details. The first ever entrances, besides the countdown and people come out of the cage, those really had just like overarching storylines as well. Like this had everything that the women's match was completely missing. So like I said, the first match, this is how you don't do a War Games match, and the last match, this is exactly how you do a War Games match. And Imagine if they had pinfalls before every single person came out. This match would have been even more perfect. Even Tama Tonga agrees. Like he went for a cover instinctively, which was lovely. I love to see it. The Royal Rumble has this right. everybody can get eliminated even before the 38th person comes out. Elimination Chamber has this right. Like, there's stakes to this. But even without that, even with this big problem that the War Games match has, they managed to keep it interesting, with the countdowns and the way people entered, and like Roman Reigns stopped CM Punk stopped Roman Reigns, the whole drama. They always had something for you to care about inside of the ring as well. They started with Tama Tonga and Jey Uso. It was a good exchange. I loved it because we don't get to see Tama Tonga wrestle just by himself, get actual time and do whatever he wants to do in the ring. But I imagine after this match, that's going to happen more. I loved it. I loved it, the beginning. So that kept my attention. Yeah, this whole drama between the two. Sami Zayn came in there like a house of fire. Jimmy Uso, when he entered, instead of getting tables and chairs, that's what I didn't like also in the women's match. Like, someone would get their entrance and the crowd would pop a little bit, and they would all this momentum, they would run to the ring, and then they would stop, and for 20 minutes they just get weapons in there, every single one of them. And by the time they're in the ring, crowd is cold, they lost all the momentum. They have to now work really hard physically to get that momentum back, which didn't really make a lot of sense. But hey, this match had a little bit of everything. Variety is the spice of life. There you go. Jimmy Uso, instead of getting weapons, he just bolted straight in there and got into the action. Just good booking. When Paul Heyman is involved with the booking, you definitely feel it, see it, hear it. And this was good. CM Punk, he stopped to get a weapon, but it was cool because like, oh, there's 4 of them here, what are you gonna do? It was a storyline moment where in the women's match, like, people are just fighting, there's no real danger. Like, if you get in there, you're gonna take the advantage, but they still stopped to get weapons. So like, psychology is really important, man. I'm telling you. Anyhow, this whole match was just really fun. Solo came in there looking really confident, locked the chain, and Roman Reigns had to climb the... just like everything was just really well done. A lot of small little moments leading up to big ones, like the handshake between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, him saving it, by the way. That was a really good spot. It looked really close. Like, it was just perfect, because if they were like a second late, I think Roman Reigns would have been dead. So this whole match was just absolutely a joy to watch, and exactly what I expected, and then some. It was good. No returns. Seth Rollins didn't get involved, which, if you're a big Seth Rollins fan, I think you might criticize that, rightfully so. And then no Rock, no, big return, like I said, but still, these 5 or these 10 by themselves, I think, pulled up a really good main event. The only thing I'll say is that I'm glad that the Bloodline dressed up in all black, and I wish the OG Bloodline would dress up in like all red or something, because at certain points of the match it was like really confusing, because everyone has mostly black on their attire. Like, I was starting to get a little confused. Like, there's just too many things going on. It would have been easier to differentiate between the two teams, but that's like a minor gripe I have. Is there anything else that I noted? Oh yeah, someone just during a random part of the match just shouted, "Tongaloa sucks," which really made me laugh. He didn't botch this time, which is insane. He came close, I think, but Tongaloa didn't botch this match, so we gotta give him his credit, man. The real tribal chief doing it out there. Let's go. And then they didn't even try to pin Jacob Fatu. That's my one big criticism about this entire match. They hit Jacob Fatu with everything. He was injured, apparently in kayfabe, in his leg. They hit him with like a top over top of the cage Uso splash, and they didn't even try to pin him when everyone could have easily pinned him. You could have fixed this by they go for the cover after actually killing Jacob Fatu, and then Solo just in a desperate way breaks up the cover, and that's when everybody's like, "Oh, we forgot you were up there, man. We forgot you're still alive. Now we're gonna kick your ass." That would have been really, really cool. That would have been super cool, but like instead they just chose to not pin Jacob Fatu at all, which was like super stupid. Like, you guys don't want to win. I hated that. That was actually like, ooh, if the moments that came after that weren't so good, you know what I mean? That might have ruined the match for me, because like, he's right there. He's actually lost. Just at least try to pin him. If he's not, like, that was actually insane. That made me really mad. Other than that though, pretty much perfect. I didn't have too much problem with this match. And when Paul Heyman came in and like said the line that he was supposed to say, it almost felt like cinema. it was a little too on the nose by the WWE with the way they did that shot. Let the War Games begin right after that, while CM Punk and Roman Reigns, they're looking at each other. But man, it was a great setup, great scene, great everything. As long as you do it in front of a live crowd, I have no problem. I don't like Roman Reigns and his backstage pre-prepared, pre-shot, pre-edited promos, by the way. That feels weak. That tells me that you're too scared to do this live. So as long as you do that type of cinematic stuff live in front of a crowd, then you have my respect. Then I like it. And yeah, besides that Jacob Fatu non-pinning issue at the end, like, this match is a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10 for me. This is what I expect from a War Games match, and this is easily the best War Games match that we've seen on the main roster. The women's match a couple of years ago, maybe last year, with Io Sky again doing the trash can thing, like, that was really entertaining to watch. So that would be my number one, but now this has taken over. And the last Bloodline involved War Games match was really boring because it had the story, and that was like really, really good, but the action was just not there. This match had the action and the story. So again, easily the best so far War Games match that we've seen on the main roster. Hey, if you disagree with me, you guys most of the time disagree with me anyways. The comments are down below. Let me know what you think. It was a pretty good Survivor Series, and yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura cooked me. God damn it.